Alright, so I've spent about a week and a half with CryptNdRipped. Let's go in and do a little more in-depth assessment on the group. So I want to start this off by highlighting their chat here. It's very active. There's a lot going on. So their initial concerns, one of the things they told me was they are worried about, upping their activity, or, maybe they're not as active as they want. They're a very, very active clan. They're active in Line app. They're active in the chat. They're on all the time. For a new member coming in, if you were to look, it'd be very deceiving, because a lot of times if you're somebody sitting outside the clan, you're looking for a clan to find, your initial thing to do is to judge a clan on its activity based on how the donations look. So you got a couple guys with some high donations, but everybody else is very spotty, and it gets really questionable when you're looking at the high level players and all of their donations are low. They use a good tactic for war. Their high level guys will go to other clans to get high level troops. So you may see a lot of, let's see if there's some in here, of guys leaving the clan and then coming back, and leaving the clan and coming back. So that may have an effect on how they're perceived on global when they're trying to do recruiting, but the donations really shouldn't be what judges them, because they are a very, very active clan. They show up for their wars, and we're going to cover some more of this in detail, but I mean, these guys know what they're doing. They're a very solid up and coming clan. So being a war clan, now they're going to be judged harsh by their war log. Great record, 32-6, a lot of high star counts. I mean, they are getting most of the stars they're supposed to be getting on the board anyway. Percentages are really high. So if you go up against this clan, they're coming for you. Be prepared. Just to be nitpicky, you guys need to be setting the example when you're doing recruiting for all your new players. And so when you look at your war logs and one of them is off, I've got a missed attack here. I don't know if he left or got booted, but he's no longer in the clan. Everybody else attacked. Previous war log, a couple of players didn't attack, but I think they were minis. And last war, we had a person not attack. He's a member. Don't know if it's somebody's mini or not. Still in the clan, even though he didn't use an attack. And I'll be curious to see how this one plays out with a couple the attack's not gone yet. Of course, I'm going to get my attacks in, even though they've got all the stars already covered on the board, but the proper mail came out. Practice. It's not about loot, it's about practicing getting better. We just had the same thing in our clan. We just had a war where we put 45 on the board and a few attacks were left. And I said the same thing. You've got to get out there and practice your attack. So, I feel like they've run the clan the way it should be run, and when it comes to covering war and preparing for the next war attack. So, as far as preparing for attacks and doing attacks, they do a great job. But things like, leaving a couple attacks on the board and how to handle the people that leave or don't do the attacks. Let's see, is Axel in this war? I wanted to look at that as well. So it looks like they held him out. I don't know if he opted out. Let's take a look at that. So he's opted in, so maybe they chose not to put him in. So if that's the case, that's good on them, because I would have done the same thing. If he's been with the clan for a while, I understand keeping him in, or keeping him in the clan and not booting him. But if it's a trend, it's something that I would keep an eye on, because other members that come in and they see that, you've got to make sure you're showing them and setting the example. So if that becomes a trend with Axel, for example, you got to boot him. I mean, even if it's your friend, you got to at least let him know why it can't be, why you can't allow it to happen. I mean, you guys are, like I said, you're setting the example. And so for every new person you have here, again, some of this is misleading because they leave and come back, but you've got to handle the same. Everybody has to follow the same rules, and you'll get more respect as the leaders if you ensure that those rules are being applied evenly. Again, good on you for holding Axel out. If that's why you held him out for missing that attack, I would have done the same thing. It's good to show other players like what's going to happen and if you miss your attacks. And again, if it becomes a trend, even if he's ranked high and even if he's been pretty solid, people stop playing. You got to make sure you're staying on top of those things. And as far as the wards themselves are concerned, the plans are pretty simple. They do a good job of coming up with a plan that is not complicated for everybody to follow. A lot of it goes on in line where they discuss the different tactics. If I had to say anything, any real critique on that, it's that, you know, it seems like you guys lean a lot on war is awesome, and I can't pronounce that, but Jai and Kyzer seem to do a lot of planning on the attacks. Like, it's not enough that they just come up with who has to hit the attacks and what bases to hit. They actually do a great job of diagramming out and planning all these attacks out on online. So it's a testament to how good you guys have been at evaluating bases and coming up with plans. But I think my concern on that might be you might burn yourselves out from working so hard, but I guess that remains to be seen. It's pretty early. You guys are pretty young and pretty dedicated and working really hard, so hopefully that continues to pay off. Okay, and that kind of leads me into the next topic, which is recruiting. You know, you guys are very active in the one time zone. I know you guys talked about wanting to get more active in what would be your nighttime. So what you need to work on is, if you're going to be dedicated to that recruiting time zone, you really got to invest a lot of time and effort into doing that. Recruiting is no joke. Recruiting in global is just like war. You know, you're out there trying to get the next level talent, but just like war, you can't, you know, Town Hall 8's not going to 3-star Town Hall 10. Sometimes you have to go out there and get the targets you can get. So if you're on a global and you're competing with high level clans, I've always found when we were coming up that it was easier to recruit Town Hall 7s and 8s and grow them within the clan. That way you could have guys that are already coming in, that are learning, they're really early, and get them under your clan's ideals and teach them things like go alone and stuff like that, so that they're not coming in with these already bad habits that they learn from other clans, or with odd expectations and things like that. So we'll talk more about some other things and suggestions, but from what I can tell so far, you guys are looking really good, and whatever suggestions I am going to have, they're going to be pretty minor. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. For more tips on running a clan, attacks, or other information, go to clanconsultant.com.